Assalamu alaikum students. In this lecture we are going to study about phrase structure grammar. Previously we are studying about syntax, which deals with the study of structure of sentences. Then we studied about phrases, clauses, universal grammar, generative grammar, and in this lecture we are going to study about phrase structure grammar. So what's the phrase structure grammar is, we are going to study about that in this lecture. So the lecture outline is: what is phrase structure grammar, phrases, phrase structure grammar rules, and the tree diagram. So let's begin towards the lecture. Noam Chomsky proposed the phrase structure grammar in 1950s. So in 1950s, Noam Chomsky, basically the linguist, I have discussed earlier about Noam Chomsky. He was the linguist who actually proposed about the concept of universal grammar. He proposed the concept of universal syntactic features, that all the languages of the world contains a universal feature of sentence, that is, every sentence in every language contains a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Any well-formed sentence that is grammatically correct, that is well-formed. The phrase structure grammar explains that how do words combine to form phrases, and then a larger unit sentence is made. So phrase structure grammar explains what? It explains that how do different words combine to form phrases. So we have studied in the previous lecture that how words combine to form phrases, and then how phrases combine to form a larger unit, that is the sentence. So the syntax deals with how sentence is made. So in phrase structure grammar, by the name phrase structure, we are actually going to study that how do words combine to form phrases. Like we have the lexical or the functional division of categories of words, that these are lexical or these are functional. Like we have parts of speech, noun, verb, adjective, adverbs, that how do these words combine to form phrases, and then how the phrases then combine to form a larger unit that is called the sentence. Phrase structure grammar rules specify the well-formed structures of a sentence. So again, the structure is explained of any well-formed sentence. Here the keyword is the well-formed. The grammatical sentences have the explanatory adequacy. Explanatory adequacy means any well-formed sentence can be explained, that how the sentence is basically structured, how the sentence is basically formed. Here the word is grammatical, the well-formed sentences. These rules are not for the ill-formed sentences or for the non-grammatical sentences. So in simple words, the phrase structure grammar is defined as the analysis of the structure of a sentence in terms of its constituents. So the analysis of the structure of a sentence in terms of its constituents. What are the constituents? Constituents are the phrases or the words through which a sentence is formed. Now phrases. In the previous lecture we have studied in detail about the phrases, that what are the phrases actually. So we have studied noun phrases, the phrases which actually act as a noun, as a complete noun in a sentence. Verb phrase, the phrase which actually acts as a verb in a sentence. Adverb phrase, adjective phrase, and we have prepositional phrase. These are some of the phrases we have discussed in the previous lecture. Then, what are the general rules of phrase structure grammar? So we are going to study the general rules. There are further rules as well when we study the phrase structure grammar in detail, but for now, when we are actually introducing the initial concept of the phrase structure grammar, so it's okay for you people to just study the general rules of the phrase structure grammar. So what is the general rule? We have S. S here stands for the sentence. So a sentence, previously we have studied any language in the world, any sentence contains what basic structure? That is noun phrase and a verb phrase. Without noun phrase and without verb phrase, we cannot build a sentence. So a sentence is composed of what? Noun phrase and a verb phrase. So now noun phrase and verb phrase. Noun phrase further consists of det, contains means determiner. That we have the determiners or the articles. We have the, and. So these are basically the articles. For example, we say the man. So this is a noun phrase. The is actually a determiner, or we can say the noun, or man is actually the noun. So the man is actually a noun phrase. So in noun phrase, there can be a determiner, noun, and prepositional phrase, or an adjective phrase. Further, we will discuss later in this lecture that how the divisions are actually studied, how the divisions are actually made. Then verb phrase. Verb phrase consists of a verb, of a prepositional phrase, or a noun phrase. It's not a compulsion that every time in every sentence the noun phrase contains the prepositional phrase or the adjective phrase. It's a general rule that it may contain both of these sometimes in some sentences. Whereas it's also not a compulsion that a verb phrase always contains the prepositional phrase and the noun phrase. It's sometimes in some sentences there is existence of a prepositional phrase and a noun phrase in addition to a verb in a verb phrase. Whereas in a sentence, it's compulsion that there must be a noun phrase and a verb phrase for in any well-formed or grammatical sentence. So S here stands for the sentence, I have told you before, and det stands for the determiner, or we can say the articles. This is the general rule for the phrase structure grammar. So what we have studied up till now, we have studied the what is the phrase structure grammar. The phrase structure grammar actually looks upon that how a structure is actually composed in terms of its phrases. How words combine to form phrases, and then how phrases to combine a larger unit, that is a sentence. So the syntax actually deals with the formation or the study of the structure of sentences. So in the phrase structure grammar, we are actually going to study about how a sentence is formed. So let's begin towards that. Tree diagram. So what is a tree diagram? By the name tree, it may comes to your mind that something may be designed like in the form of branches. A tree has several branches. So in the same way, in the phrase structure grammar, a well-formed, or we can say a grammatical sentence, can explain sentences in the form of a tree-like structure. So how we are going to analyze the structure of a sentence in a phrase structure grammar in the form of different branches, in the form of a tree-like structure, like how we have a sentence, then a sentence, S stands for the sentence, NP stands for noun phrase, VP stands for verb phrase. So the basic branches of the sentence are actually, we divide the complete sentence into two branches, like a tree, like how a tree has different branches. So sentence has two main branches, that is the noun phrase, and then we have the verb phrase. Now look at different examples to make you people clear that how a sentence is formed and how we analyze the sentence in a phrase structure grammar, in how to make a tree diagram to form the structure of a sentence. So example number 1. The sentence is I drink water. Here I is the noun, or we can say it's a pronoun. Drink. So for the analyzation of first, you see the sentence. Okay, the sentence is I drink water. First you have to divide that from where the verb is actually starting in a sentence. The word from where the verb actually starts, it's the verb phrase. No matter how long it goes, from the very first verb in a sentence, the verb phrase starts. So here drink is actually a verb, so we can say that drink water is a verb phrase. So left behind is I, that is a noun, so we can say it's a noun phrase. We have divided the sentence into two branches, that is a noun phrase and that is a verb phrase. So after dividing the sentence into a noun phrase and a verb phrase, then you have to further divide it how a noun phrase and a verb phrase has made of, how words do combine to form a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Okay, we have divided that the sentence is made of a noun phrase, which noun phrase I, and then which verb phrase drink water. So now noun phrase further made of what? Noun phrase is actually made of a noun, so we have further made a branch noun, and then we branched noun with a I. Then verb phrase consists of word. Verb phrase further consists of, or we can say the branches of the verb phrase are drink is a verb and water is again a noun. So what we do, verb phrase consists of a verb and a noun phrase, that is a water. Noun phrase again consists of word, that is a noun, that is a water. Previously we have studied that phrases do contains more than one word, but here we write a single word as a noun phrase, then we write that what kind of phrase the actually the constituent is under that kind of phrase. So now we have studied that constituents, how the noun, verb and a noun, parts of speech, words, noun, verb and then noun made a noun phrase and a verb phrase, then a noun phrase and a verb phrase completely combined together to form a sentence. So it's clear that how a sentence is actually formed and how we analyze the sentence in terms of phrase structure grammar, and how we made the tree-like diagram of the structure of the sentence. So now you can see that how the branches like structure is formed. So let's see another example. Another example is the horse is a faithful animal. So what I have told you previously, that for the division of a sentence into a noun phrase and a verb phrase, first you have to see from where the verb is actually starting, where the verb exists. So the verb here is. The horse is. So means the verb phrase is starting from is, and rest of the parts are the parts of a verb phrase. So we have divided the sentence into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Then the noun phrase is the horse, and is a faithful animal is a verb phrase. So we studied that, okay, the sentence is composed of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Now how the noun phrase is made and how the verb phrase is made, we are going to analyze this. Okay, the noun phrase consists of two words, the and horse. So I have told you earlier that a noun phrase may consist of a determiner and a noun. So here noun phrase consists of a determiner, that is the, and a noun, that is horse. So we have studied now that how a noun phrase is further made by determiner and a noun. Then look upon the verb phrase, that how the verb phrase is structured. So is a faithful animal. This the whole is a verb phrase. So now see what category is. It's a verb. Then again a faithful animal. A faithful animal is a complete noun phrase. So we see that a verb phrase consists of a verb and again it consists of a noun phrase. So again how that noun phrase is made of? It's made of a determiner, faithful is an adjective, and then animal is a noun. So you see that how do words combine if we look upon from bottom up situation. So by bottom you see that how do words that it, or grammatically we can say the grammatical category of the words, the determiner, noun, verb, then again the determiner, adjective and noun made noun phrases and verb phrase, and how the noun phrase and verb phrase combined to form a sentence. And if we look from top to bottom approach, we just simply divided the sentence into the end part which cannot be further divisible, like sentence into noun phrase, verb phrase. Okay, noun phrase, which type of determiner and noun, verb phrase, what parts verb phrase contains, the verb, and again the noun phrase. Okay, noun phrase contains what part. So we have to keep making the branches until we have reached the minimal meaningful unit. So can we divide the word horse further? No. So can we divide the adjective faithful further? No, we cannot divide that. Faithful is a complete adjective. So do not miss it with the more analysis of the words where we have studied the minimal meaningful unit, that faithful can be further divided. That is something else. That is the division of the word. Here we are taking a complete word in composition of phrases, and then phrases, how do phrases compose a sentence. So the next example. So now the next sentence is, the book in the shelf is informative. The book in the shelf is informative. So first, what I told you, to find the verb in the sentence, to divide the sentence into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So in the whole sentence where you are actually getting the verb is, the book in the shelf is informative. So is actually a verb. So we have divided from is informative is a verb phrase, and the book in the shelf is the noun phrase. So how then we have to divide the noun phrase further, as we have done in the previous examples. So noun phrase again consists of a determiner, the, book, noun. And now in the shelf. In the shelf is actually a prepositional phrase which is acting as a preposition in the phrase, in the sentence. So it's a prepositional phrase. In the shelf is the prepositional phrase. So again, break the prepositional phrase into in is what? In is a preposition. Again, the is the determiner, and then shelf is the noun. So in this way you have divided the sentence, the book, the noun phrase, the book in the shelf. And then verb phrase. Verb phrase consists of the verb. Informative is an adjective, so it consists of a verb and an adjective. So in this way we have analyzed the structure. So in this example you can also write it as the noun phrase, and the verb phrase again consists of a prepositional phrase, noun or determiner, and the verb phrase consists of a verb and an adjective. So next example. The small boy is taking tea. Here you have to find the verb. So you may get confused that there are two verbs in the sentence, is and taking. Is working as an auxiliary and taking working as a main verb. So from where the first verb starts, you have to take the whole words as that a verb phrase. So is taking tea is a verb phrase. The small boy is a noun phrase. So noun phrase consists of word, the, determiner, small, adjective, boy, noun. So now verb phrase consists of word. Now is when the main verb is present in the sentence, then we write the auxiliary as an auxiliary. We write AUX, auxiliary, then main verb M.V, main verb is taking, and then again it consists of T is a noun, noun phrase. Noun phrase consists of word, the noun, that is the T. Next example is I know he lives in Multan. So here you might get confused that in this sentence there are two types of verbs. The first verb is know and the second verb is lives. So how to analyze the sentence in terms of noun phrase and verb phrase? So in these type of sentences you have to deal with the first words. So I know, main sentence contains noun phrase, verb phrase. Noun phrase contains what? Noun. Then verb phrase contains what? A verb, that is know. I know. Noun phrase, verb phrase. Then in this sentence again a sentence is present, or we can either write it as S and a slash on the upper side, or we can name it as CP, or we can say as a complement phrase. Complement phrase, I know he lives in Multan. It's actually completing the statement I know. So again, he lives in Multan, that is again a sentence, and under the sentence, so again divide the sentence into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So verb phrase starts from where lives, noun phrase here contains the noun, or we can say the pronoun he. Then verb phrase again consists of verb, and then in Multan. So in Multan is a prepositional phrase. Then again, prepositional phrase consists of a preposition and a noun. The next sentence is Aslam and Akram are playing hockey. So here you may get confused that here two noun phrases are present. So how to write it? So first you have to divide the main noun phrase and the verb phrase. The main noun phrase is Aslam and Akram, and verb phrase is are playing hockey. So now how to deal with Aslam and Akram? Again we have to write NP, the slash at the upper side. Then again noun phrase contains again noun, and end is the conjunction. So noun phrase contains a noun and Aslam. Then again noun phrase, the main noun phrase consists of further noun phrase, that is noun Akram, and end is the conjunction. So and then verb phrase consists of word auxiliary, the main verb, and the noun phrase, that is hockey. So in this way I have told you two unique type of sentences where we have some sort of separation in the words, in the nouns, basically two nouns with any conjunction. You have to write, analyze a sentence like this, or when there is a complete sentence, one more sentence in the main sentence. So you have to write it like complement phrase or s and slash. Then another example is the red book entertains the reader. Entertains is a verb, so verb phrase starts from here, and then noun phrase, the rest is that which is left is the noun phrase. So the red book is the noun phrase and entertains the reader is the verb phrase. So a sentence is divided into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Noun phrase again consists of determiner, then noun phrase again consists of adjective, that is red, and again consists of noun, that is book. The verb phrase consists of words, the verb entertains, then the reader, again noun phrase, which kind of noun phrase? The determiner, and reader is the noun. So in this way we have analyzed this many sentences. So in the coming lecture we are going to practice some more sentences so that you people became much clearer about how to analyze the sentences in terms of the phrase structure grammar. And this is very important for you people to learn or listen this lecture very carefully, because in exam you are going to have one question from this type. Is a compulsion that I will give you some sentences and you have to analyze the structure of those sentences in terms of phrase structure grammar, like the way we have analyzed the structure in the form of branches, or we have made the tree diagram. So listen it carefully and try to understand the lecture. In the further lecture we will practice some more type of sentences. So this is all about today's lecture. These are some references, and the book here, Analyzing Sentences, it's very important book, and it's, if you like to download from the net, it's very useful for you people in understanding the terms of the phrase structure grammar. And or these are the references. You can take guide from these references. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.